What is it being like? We have oh, Mackenzie's stuff. We can do a lot of things.
Not the part of the terrace, that's the more permanent part. That's they also have to get roads to be able to build. No, I noticed them on the weekend perhaps, but they take those things out. Okay. That's fine.
You okay starting? I was going to wait for you to take this a little.
Why don't you take it off quickly?
Okay. Meeting of the Shore Village Board to order at 7:38. All trustees are present. Has this meeting been properly noticed?
The meeting has been posted and noticed according to law.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
I'd like to pull item 4C.
4C.
Practical Dance Collection Pilot.
I got it. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda with the exception of 4C, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so this next item is citizens to be heard. This item is for matters not on this evening's agenda. Discussion may follow comment on non-agenda items, or discussion and action may come at future meetings. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard on non-agenda items? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Rod Dow, 4314 North Stowell Avenue. I have 4 topics tonight. The first and the last of my topics will be fun, I think. So bear with me. The middle 2 topics will be a little tougher, and I thank you in advance for your indulgence. First topic. I first met our new village manager, Rebecca Ewald, at a reception for her at the Shorewood Men's Club on February 7th. And she first asked each table to huddle and report back on what each loved most about Shorewood. Very fun and heartwarming. She then made a special mention of our village president, Guy Johnson, and his 20 years of service as a trustee, 12 years as village president. A few weeks later, Becky repeated similar accolades for Guy's service in the spring issue of Shorewood Today, that was page 2, which also included a terrific article about Guy and Mary Johnson on page 27. And I had an observation that I think is factually correct, and so anyone can correct me if I'm incorrect, but with respect to Becky and Guy and their Mutual Admiration Society, I think it is a fact that Becky, in a little more than 4 months of service with the village, has been paid more than Guy Johnson was paid in 20 years of service with the village.
You will be correct.
Thank you. Now we are coming upon a period in our spring.
I'm not a good negotiator. You know?
For yours, pay her for her.
When we focus on elections and transition to a new village president, tonight's agenda is light, thankfully. I think it's light. And the agenda on April 2nd, election eve, will be even lighter unless there's some last-minute legislation to slip under the table. In mid-April, the formal transition will occur, and a new president and new trustees will take office. It is likely, I think, that a celebration of Guy's service will occur at that time, but it probably won't be a surprise for Guy when that happens. So by myself, I love surprises. I also love basketball, March Madness, and sports metaphors. So to keep the ball in the air from February 7th to April 17th, please join me in a surprise standing ovation for Guy Johnson's 20 years of service to the village. Thank you, Guy, for your outstanding wisdom and leadership.
No speeches, though.
You're not going to make a speech. Yeah, you prepare one for the big celebration. My second topic is more serious. There is a Facebook site called Shorewood is Talking About, which is shortened to SITA, S-I-T-A, Shorewood is Talking About. It is open to any Shorewood resident upon application and has more than 1,600 members. According to SITA, and this is a quote, SITA is a forum to share information and opinions about our Shorewood government, schools, and community. The page supports government transparency and civil discourse about our community. All of that was a quote from SITA. Trustees Rozek and Amenta are frequent contributors of content to SITA. Other trustees are not, and I contribute content to SITA, especially during election season. So this past Saturday morning, about 10 a.m., I was banned from SITA, and that ban continues. It's been renewed daily since then, so I am banned from participating in SITA. And the reason for my ban should be of interest to you as the village board. I was banned because I sent an email to Tyler with sample excerpted commentary from SITA discussing the proposed lane narrowings on Lake Drive. This was sent to inform the DPW committee and the pedestrian safety committee and the village board of resident concerns expressed on SITA and to facilitate input and open discussion towards reaching a decision on these matters. I later learned from trustee Amenta's husband that I had been banned for subjecting SITA comments to an open records request. His email said to me, I gather your transgression was capturing discussion on SITA, a closed group, and making it part of the public record by emailing it to Tyler. I don't know what to say about that, other than I understand that some members of SITA do not want their comments to be accessible to anyone who submits an open records request to the village. Those posts on SITA were not public record until you, Dow, made them so. Now, at this point, I'm sure that some folks, maybe everyone's folks, are perking up, especially Nathan's open records request. You know, oh my, that's the quote from The Wizard of Oz. That does send chills down the spine of village boards and school boards and village and school board attorneys. My original email chain with Tyler was copied to Rebecca and Guy, and later Paul Zovic, because he chaired the DPW committee that had a meeting the next day. That was last Tuesday. Earlier today, I sent to all trustees a complete record of the full email exchange between me and Tyler, so you would know exactly what I'm talking about and the exact source of my ban from SITA. And by the way, that email chain was actually posted by me on SITA in the interest of transparency, but it was shortly thereafter deleted by the moderator of the site, so I don't believe it is any longer on SITA, which is one reason why I sent it to all of you earlier. This whole thing reeks of irony. Sharing information and ideas, transparency, these are good, worthwhile thoughts, but rather poor execution in my judgment. Regarding open records and concern about open records, and keep in mind that I've been there, although it was a while ago, with open records and open meetings. And the thing is, I think, every comment on SITA that is part of a thread that discusses village board business in which any trustee participates in a substantive way is subject to open records. So if David or Allison is in the thread on SITA, open records applies. David started the thread from which I made copies. So I don't think I did anything to make them public records. David had already done that. and a lot more. No doubt, you will want to take this up with your counsel, won't rely on me, and of course that should be done in closed session so as to preserve attorney-client privilege. And of course, you should refrain from discussing Nathan's advice in public, as that would also waive attorney-client privilege. But I will leave all that to Nathan for another day, as this is not an item on the agenda. Before leaving this topic, though, I also note the implications of the open meetings laws for engagement by trustees on CETA. Open meetings is a separate issue, apart from open records. And as Ray Pollen, many years ago, used to remind us on the village board, anytime 2 or more trustees gather to discuss village business, ... I won't fill it in. This is probably something to discuss with Nathan as well, and perhaps the whole use of social media by trustees and perhaps the adoption of policies regarding the same. My third topic is a return to the last liquor license in Shorewood, which was a focus of my appearance 2 weeks ago at this microphone. Before the last meeting, I sent to the board and staff Trustee Rozek's CETA post of February 20th and my CETA post in response. I then stood before you as a citizen so that any of you could comment or question me within the limits of an item not on the agenda, as I thought that was only fair. I also discussed the need for the village board to get past seemingly constant infighting and to work together respectfully in collaborative fashion. So what I want to do is to take a minute to provide an update to cover the period from March 5th, when I was last here, and the present. First, as you might imagine, there has been additional commentary on CETA. Notably, in my judgment, a post that states, in part, I'll quote here, Dow's criticism of Ms. Rozek closely resembles the trope of the hysterical woman, which characterizes women as less rational, disciplined, and emotionally stable than men, and thus more prone to mood swings, irrational overreactions, and mental illness. So just let me say, for the record here, I hope that is not what you got out of my post, the last liquor license in Shorewood. It certainly was not what I intended. If that was the interpretation that you had, Allison, then I'm sorry for that. And Allison, I hope that if you believe me, and I don't know whether you do or not, or will, I ask that you would so advise those folks on CETA who are furthering those claims, because I don't think it's healthy to do that, especially if you don't believe that I was trying to say that kind of a thing in that post. My response to that post also appeared subsequently in the last 2 weeks, a defense, if you will, and that's there on CETA. If you wish to see it. At least it's there for now. Sadly, my days of being able to defend myself on CETA appear to be over, and maybe before I leave the podium, all my posts will be deleted in posterity. Second, there has been much additional commentary on CETA, also in print media, with a Ripples article and a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Now article about the liquor license situation. And and a quick note on that, I mean, my own judgment, I thought the Ripples article was the better of the two. I'm very proud of Shorewood High School and its students for that. And I think if you compare the two articles, you might agree with me there. There is still much to explore here regarding last liquor license in Shorewood. I would say watch the village board and village staff for more, as well as media coverage, excluding, of course, any comments by me on CETA, because they won't be there unless things change dramatically differently. We also have a separate 2-week history of interaction, or lack thereof, between the trustee accused, that would be Trustee Rozek, and the citizen accuser, that would be me. Now, this characterization of the accused and the accuser is truncated, of course, because Rozek actually started the accusations by criticizing McCaig and Zovic and the rest of the village board in the majority, and then I responded to her partially in their defense. Recall that when I appeared before you March 5th and invited questions or comment, Trustee Rozek said that she had not yet read my submission to the board. And fair enough, short notice, lots of things going on. And she asked if she could interact with me by email, which I welcome. And, well, there has been nothing to date from Trustee Rozek to me. On the other hand, did reach out to Allison. I attended and participated in Allison's next 2 fireside chats at 3 Lions. At the end of the first of these, that was March 6th, the day after the village board meeting, I approached her privately to discuss any last liquor license comments and